Imagine we have a time machine. It's ready and waiting for us. Our destination is an island, a place that has seen it all. It has witnessed invasions, plagues, revolutions. It has built an empire and fought in world wars. This island is Britain. Its story is one of the most epic tales in human history. We are going to travel through thousands of years. We will stand with ancient builders. So buckle up, we're about to press the button. The first stop on our tour is a time so distant it feels like a different world. Our time machine shudders to a halt. The air is crisp and clean. Dense forests fill the view. Wide grassy plains roll out beside them. We are thousands of years in the past, in the Stone Age. The first humans arrived here much, much earlier, perhaps as far back as 900,000 years ago. Ice sheets advance across the land. Ice sheets retreat, reshaping the coast and rivers. Giant deer, mammoth, wild horses. Look over there. A small group works with flint. These tools were their technology, their key to survival. Forward a few thousand years, a dramatic change. The Neolithic revolution changes everything. On the horizon, a great circle of massive stones, Stonehenge, silent against the sky. Let's jump forward in our time machine. The year is 43 AD. We are standing on the coast of Kent in the southeast of England. Huge Roman ships, powered by oars and sails, are grounding on the beach. Down the ramps march thousands of soldiers. They are heavily armed, shields, short swords. They move in perfect formation, disciplined and terrifying. They have come to conquer this wild island, Britannia. The Romans built forts as they advanced, and they built roads. They brought new ideas, new technologies, a new way of life. They even built a massive barrier, Hadrian's Wall, across the north. Around 410 AD, the last Roman soldiers were withdrawn from Britain. They left behind roads, walls, towns, and an imprint that lasted. The Romans have gone. A power vacuum is left behind. Angles, Saxons, Jutes. We call them the Anglo-Saxons. They were farmers and warriors looking for new land to settle. They slowly pushed the native Britons, the Romano-British Celts, to the west. Many towns have names from Old English. This was the language that would evolve into English. They were not Christians at first. They worshipped pagan gods like Woden and Thor. But missionaries like St. Augustine, who arrived in 597 AD, gradually converted the kingdoms to Christianity. A new threat appears on the horizon. Longships are arriving from Norway and Denmark. Their first major raid was on Lindisfarne in 793 AD. A huge Viking force, the Great Heathen Army, arrived in 865 AD. Large areas became the Danelaw, where Viking laws held sway. The only Anglo-Saxon kingdom left standing was Wessex, led by Alfred the Great. He fought the Vikings to a standstill and laid foundations for a united England. So the year is 1066, probably the most famous date in British history, right? Our time machine drops us on a hill near the south coast of England. At the top, you've got the English, led by Harold Godwinson. Down at the bottom, there's the invading force, an army of knights on horseback led by William of Normandy. They're all on foot, packed tight into a strong shield wall. The Norman cavalry charges again and again. The Normans pretend to retreat. Some English break formation and chase. Late afternoon, King Harold is killed, famously shot in the eye. The English army collapses and flees. William has won. William marches to London and is crowned on Christmas Day, 1066. He builds motte and bailey forts, then stone keeps. Castles dominate the landscape. The new ruling class speaks French. The law and royal administration change. The Domesday surveys and royal government reshape England. William introduced feudalism. The king owned the land and granted estates to lords in return for loyalty and service, shaping English society for centuries. All right, so we move on into the High Middle Ages. The Norman kings and their descendants are now firmly in charge. One of the most important moments happens in 1215, a meadow by the River Thames at Runnymede. King John is forced to seal the Magna Carta, which set down that the king is not above the law. The year is 1348. A terrible disease sweeps across Europe, the Black Death. It killed perhaps as much as half the population. There are just not enough people left to work the land. Whole villages are abandoned. Survivors could demand higher wages. The old feudal system began to break down. In the 15th century, a long struggle for the throne broke out between Lancaster, Red Rose, and York, White Rose. For 30 years, England was torn apart until a new dynasty emerged. These centuries set patterns of law, monarchy, and society that would echo for generations. Monasteries preserved learning, towns grew, and slowly a different England took shape. The Wars of the Roses finally end in 1485 at the Battle of Bosworth Field. Henry Tudor becomes King Henry VII. Henry VII aimed to bring peace and stability. His son, Henry VIII, came to the throne young, handsome, and desperate for a male heir, famous for his 6 wives. When the Pope refused to annul his marriage, Henry broke away from the Catholic Church and declared himself supreme head of the Church of England. Henry closed wealthy monasteries and seized their land and wealth. After Henry, his children Edward, Mary, and Elizabeth ruled in turn. Mary I, a staunch Catholic, persecuted Protestants and earned the name Bloody Mary. Elizabeth found a middle way, the Elizabethan settlement, calming tensions and starting a cultural flowering. It was an age of exploration. Sailors like Sir Francis Drake pushed out across the oceans. In 1588, England defeated the Spanish Armada, a turning point for national confidence. Her reign saw Shakespeare and the globe, and England became more outward-looking. The Tudors reshaped religion, monarchy, and national identity. After Elizabeth's death in 1603, the throne passed to James Stuart, uniting crowns of England and Scotland. James I and Charles I believed in the divine right of kings, clashing with Parliament. In 1642, the English Civil War broke out. Cavaliers versus Roundheads. Oliver Cromwell and the parliamentarian New Model Army ultimately prevailed. In 1649, Charles I was tried and executed, a shocking event that made England a republic for a time. For 11 years, England was a commonwealth under Cromwell. After Cromwell's death, the monarchy was restored in 1660 with Charles II. In 1688, James II was replaced by William and Mary, who agreed to a Bill of Rights limiting the monarch and affirming Parliament. With stability, Britain looked outwards. Trade expanded and the Royal Navy grew. Settlements and trading posts sprang up in North America, the Caribbean, India, beginning an empire. Over 2 centuries, the empire expanded to become the largest the world had seen. This expansion would shape global trade, language, law, and conflict for centuries. As the 18th century gave way to the 19th, a new revolution began in Britain. The Industrial Revolution started in textile mills and coal mines, powered by inventions like the steam engine. People flocked to Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow. Britain became the workshop of the world, but the progress came at a social cost. Overcrowded slums, dangerous factories, child labor. These problems drove social reform, new political movements, and the beginnings of trade unions. Let us jump forward to the 20th century. In 1914, the First World War broke out. Millions fought and many died. 2 decades later, Britain stood against Nazi Germany, suffered the Blitz, and emerged victorious in 1945. Britain emerged victorious but exhausted. The empire began to dissolve as colonies demanded independence. At home, a new consensus led to the founding of the NHS in 1948. Free healthcare for all. Post-war immigration, including Windrush and Commonwealth arrivals, helped rebuild the nation and created the diverse Britain of today. This journey from empire to modern Britain has shaped the nation we see as we step out of our time machine.